What is going on, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global here, back with another video. Of course, if you are not subscribed, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Join the Patriots Global family. We cover everything New England Patriots here. When I say everything, I mean everything to a T, everything down to the itty-bitty nitty-gritty. The Patriots season is officially over. We officially look towards the offseason. We look towards free agency. That's the first thing to come up. We look to rebuild. We look towards the draft, but we also look to 2021. Now that 2020 is over, now that the 2020 season has concluded, we have to take a look at the 2021 opponents. And luckily for us, those opponents have been released. Now, we don't know exactly when the schedule will drop. It's usually some point in April. So what we will not get is an order. We won't get times. All of that will come in a few months. So sadly, if you were looking for who will be the Patriots season opener, we don't know that just yet. But you know what? We do know the home games. We do know the away games. Let's hop into this one. So, straight off the bat for our home opponents, we have the Cleveland Browns, we have the Miami Dolphins, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which I'm excited to get into here. We have the Jacksonville Jags. Trevor Lawrence will be coming to New England. We have the New Orleans Saints, and we have the Tennessee Titans. Following that, the Patriots will have two more home games, and that is going to be the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets, of course, our AFC East divisional rivals. Biggest thing that stands out about not just the home list, but the list all in general, is we're playing Tampa Bay. Now, I told you guys a while ago that in 2021, we would be playing Tampa Bay, but we didn't know when. We don't know if it was going to be home. We don't know if it was going to be away. But I am so thankful that the NFL chose to put this in New England and Foxborough, guys. Tom Brady comes home for a week. That is going to be the headline heading into 2021. I'm extremely excited to see what Foxborough does for Tom Brady coming home. It's going to be a little awkward for whoever the Patriots starting quarterback is, because you are going to see nothing but Tom Brady jerseys for the fans, if fans, of course, are let in by next season. And, of course, you're going to be having billboards, tributes, everything for TB12 coming home against this game. And this is going to be a game that both Tom Brady, Tampa Bay, and Belichick and the Patriots, it's going to be a high demanding game. It's going to be something that both teams strongly want to win. It's going to be that Belichick versus Brady all over again, but this time, they're actually going to be opponents. And this is easily the most interesting game on the Patriots schedule, just because they've been together for generations, and it's just Belichick knows Brady, Brady knows Belichick. Which one's just going to come out on top? I do hope that this won't be the season opener, just because I want this to be a fun and fair game, and I just want, both sides to be able to get things together and get back into football before, this matchup. I don't want it to be where it's week one and we're still kind of struggling to get back into football mode. But to move on here, the Cleveland Browns we also have at home. That's a standout game. The Cleveland Browns have been just a spectacular team. The Patriots have not seen them in a little bit now, a couple years. But this Browns team is finally getting it together. The head coaching is really what it came down to. I've been saying this for a long time. They finally got the coaching right, and for the first time in years, they are going to the playoffs. Kind of weird. Patriots aren't going to the playoffs, but the Browns are. This is going to be another high-demanding game. Thank God it is at home again. Hopefully, the Patriots will be able to have a crowd, because that will help play a factor into that game. And really, just like all of these games, I can't give you my complete predictions on will the Patriots win or not. I'll kind of go through which ones I think they will and won't, but it's not going to be too accurate just because the Patriots haven't made moves. Once the off season is kind of over, once they pick up their free agents, once they conclude the draft, I'll kind of come back and talk about more in depth and more accurately who I think they could win against and who, of course, I think they'll lose against. Real quick, we're just going to knock out the division here. The AFC East, the Dolphins, of course, are going to be a big question mark heading into 2021. They're a good team. They've proven they're a good team this year, but they do still have question marks, especially with Tua. They've been going back and forth. Rumors have it that they're not, kind of sold on Tua just yet, and that he might not be the guy that they think that they drafted just last year. So I think that will be interesting, of course. They'll probably split halves again like they always do. Patriots will win one, Dolphins will win one. Jets will be interesting too. Let's see if they can get anything going, but I still think it's going to be a change and a rough year for them in 2021. The Bills are going to be the biggest one here. They're going off. They're going off in 2020. They are going to be the team to beat in the AFC East next year. We're just going to see if the Patriots can come out on top. We're going to see if they can win a game, if they'll split it, if one of these teams will just kind of overthrow one of these, one or the other. All in all, I think the Patriots' home games are significantly more tough than their away games. So, I mean, that's definitely good. That is what you want. It benefits playing at home against your tougher opponents. The Jags, I don't think that's going to be necessarily a tough game. They have a lot of cap space. Again, we'll have to see what they decide to do in free agency. Also, grabbing Trevor Lawrence, that's going to be fun to watch. Trevor Lawrence in his rookie season coming here into New England, expected to be one of the best rookie quarterbacks coming into the NFL ever, period. And we'll just have to see if Belichick can continue that rep of beating rookie quarterbacks or not. The Saints is going to be a tough one for me also. I think the Patriots are going to end up losing that game. But I think a big dependent on that is who's their quarterback. Drew Brees most likely is going to retire. Are the Patriots going to be able to win that game? I just don't know. All around the coaching, the defense, just everything the Saints have is still pretty compacted and brought together. The Tennessee Titans here for our last home game. The Tennessee Titans are a good team, and I think the Patriots will win this game if they can address their run-stopping needs in free agency and draft and just general this offseason. If the Patriots don't, Derrick Henry's going to run for easily 200 yards in this game, and if they let him go off, the Patriots will lose that game. Now, as we move on to the away games, like I said, I believe that this is significantly easier than the home games we have. The away games that we have this year or next year are going to be the Chargers, the Jets, the Falcons, the Bills, the Panthers, the Dolphins, the Colts, and the Texans. At this point, you might as well just make the damn Texans part of the AFC East because every single year we play them, and for the past few years, this is the third straight year that we've gone to play them in their home stadium. Straight off the bat, the hardest opponents here are easily going to be the Chargers and the Bills. We already discussed the Bills, so I'm not going to get into the Bills all too much. But as for the Chargers, we already played the Chargers this year. I thought it was going to be a much tougher game than it was, especially for playing in their home stadium. Second consecutive season, we're going to be playing them. And again, we're going to be playing in their stadium. I doubt they let us run all over them like they did this year. But it's going to be an extremely, extremely interesting offseason for the Chargers also. They just fired their head coach in Anthony Lynn. That defense significantly needs to be upgraded. That offense is 100% there, 100% clicking, and they have their quarterback of the future in Justin Herbert. So definitely going to be a tough game, especially if they can address their needs in free agency. As for the Falcons, I don't see this being a tough game. Playing the Falcons is always fun. It's always interesting. We'll have to see some of the moves they decide to make. But with rumors going around, they could potentially be moving on from Matt Ryan, potentially Julio Jones. If that does happen, they really don't have anything. And they are just in a rebuild mode. There is nothing about them that truly scares me, especially, again, if they are going into that full rebuild mode and they're going to get rid of their actual good pieces. So not a worry there for me. The Carolina Panthers. This is an interesting one. If the Patriots re-sign Cam Newton somehow, despite the reports that recently came out, this is a revenge game for him. And truly, I would love to see Cam Newton against his old team. I think that would just be extremely fun to watch. But even if he doesn't come back, the Patriots are going to be playing them either way. They're going to be going to Carolina also. And they have not been great this season either. They've been worse than the Patriots, actually. Teddy Bridgewater has not looked good. Christian McCaffrey's kind of just been banged up. He is not looking the same, especially since Cam Newton has left. We'll have to see what they decide to do in this offseason, but just a lot of needs there from the Carolina Panthers, and they just don't have it together. The Colts are a really good team too, of course. I mean, that is going to probably be one of the tougher opponents on the schedule too, especially in the away section. They have it together. They have really good pieces. That defense is put together. Taylor, the running back, a very, very good piece. He's going to be a big key stop that the Patriots have to really take seriously if they want to win that game. We'll see what the quarterback situation is. Is it Phillip Rivers? Probably not. And I think who their quarterback is could be very determined on, is this a win or loss for the Patriots? As for the Texans, you'd think the Texans aren't scary this year and the Patriots lost. The Patriots lost the past 2 seasons when playing against the Texans. And ironically, those 2 seasons that they lost were home games for the Texans. And again, next year will be home for the Texans also. I don't know what it is about the Patriots having issues in winning at their stadium, but we'll just have to see if they can get it together by then. They just don't have an answer for Deshaun Watson. They never really have. They're going to have significant upgrades at defense especially to just get rid of that issue with Deshaun Watson if they want to end up winning this game. Maybe they'll have it together a little bit more, but they don't have a head coach right now. That's going to be a vacancy for them. Are they going to go in a bit of a rebuild mode also? We'll just have to see. Will Fuller could potentially be leaving their top receiver. So just a lot of question marks with the Texans also. Now, for a second, I want to talk about my boys over at betonline.ag. Now, the NFL regular season, of course, is finishing up. For the Patriots, it finally is finished up, and the playoff picture is finally becoming clearer, and there's only one place that has you covered and one place that we personally trust here at Patriots Global, and that's betonline.ag. And if you sign up today for a free account at betonline.ag and use your promo code CLNS50 for your 50% off welcome bonus. Whether it's NFL games of the week, whether it's college football, or whether it is current headlines in sports, BetOnline has you covered from top to bottom. Guys, do not sit on the sideline anymore. Get in on the action. Do not forget to use that promo code, guys. Seriously, CLNS50 to receive half off, y'all. 50% off welcome bonus with your first deposit. Again, BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. So now that we went in each game, we discussed who the home opponents are, we discussed who the away are, we went in depth with each of them. I'm kind of just going to talk about who I think will be the easy opponents, who I think will be the tough opponents, and who I think we could potentially lose to. Now, of course, this is just for fun. We don't know the roster for next year, so guys, take it with a grain of salt. The accurate one will be out later in the offseason. So I think that the Jets games will still be fairly easy. It's always tough playing a divisional rival, but I still think the Patriots should be able to come out on top in both of those. The Jags game, again, another one that should still be pretty easy. I don't see them getting it together. Another team that also fired their head coach this offseason. I think the Patriots should be able to beat the Falcons. I think the Patriots should be able to go ahead and beat the Panthers. And that's already 5 games as a W for you. Of course, I also think that history will continue to repeat itself. The Patriots will win one of the 2 matchup against the Miami Dolphins. But then you move into your hard opponents. Both games against the Bills are going to continue to be very hard. Just looking at how amazing and how talented this Buffalo Bills roster and team is gonna play. The Browns is going to be an insanely tough game also, again, with that head coach and the coaching staff finally picking it up with the talent all around from top to bottom that roster has. It's not going to be an easy game, but it is still a winnable game. Tampa Bay, not going to be an easy game whatsoever. Saints, not going to be an easy game. The Colts, it's definitely not one of the top 3 or 4 hardest games, but it is still going to be one of the tougher opponents that we're going to have on this schedule. And then the Titans always play us hard, especially with them having a former Patriot at the head coach position for them. So that, of course, is going to be another one to watch, guys. That's going to be our 2021 opponents. What are your guys' immediate thoughts when looking at this and your reactions? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. Like always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.